Hi, I'm Curious Vedant, and welcome to season 4 of my podcast. Today, my guest is Dr. S. Kumar, who is the Chancellor of Sri Devraj Academy of Higher Education and Research, Kolar. He was also the President of Medical Education at Gokula Education Foundation and served as the Principal and Dean at MS Ramaya Medical College and Hospitals. Hi, Dr. Kumar. Welcome to my show.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, this will be fun. I've interviewed many pathologists before, but I have lots of questions.
Go ahead.
So, Dr. Kumar, I'm curious to know, what does it mean to be the Chancellor of a medical institution?
See, a Chancellor is the position in a university. A university has multiple faculties, like it may have general sciences, engineering science, medical science, legal sciences. So a number of faculties are there. So the role of a chancellor is to visualize a path for progress in academics and research, progress in infrastructure, progress in faculty development, all right? And also to promote interdepartmental coordination and research and inter-institutional working together for the common benefit of the community.
Can you give me an example?
All right. As a chancellor, I have to make sure, number one, that the right amount of finances are available to support all the activities of the institution. As a chancellor, I have to take care of the welfare of all the teaching staff, non-teaching and supportive staff. As a chancellor, I have to all the time think what new dimensions I can add to academics. Like in a school, like in a college, it is not delivering content as they exist. We must encourage people to create new content. That means we have to promote them to do original research, not something that somebody else had done before. Original research, which will become useful in some way or the other to the society, to the community. All right? And also we have to explore possibilities of raising the standards of education offered in the university so that you get a good rating, you get a good grading, and other institutes of eminence are willing to hold your hand to make joint projects, collaborative courses, and things like that. Sounds a little too big?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
You have studied pathology. Can you tell me a little bit about what a pathologist does?
Pathology is the science of dealing or diagnosing disease. What is a disease? When the whole structure of the body, when the function of the body, and when all those indicating normal function are there, a man is at ease. But when it gets disturbed, that is dis-ease. Now, pathology is the branch which helps a doctor to make a diagnosis so that he can start relevant treatment. All right, in pathology, we have many branches. Like some people deal with what is called clinical pathology. They test the urine, they test other body fluids. There is something called cytology, where he studies a cell or a group of cells to arrive at a diagnosis. If you will learn down the line that life started as a single cell, and that single cell became a cute little Vedant or old man like me. All right. So if you understand that life starts as a single cell, the cytologists believe that disease also starts in a single cell, and we should be able to pick it up by studying it. Then there are one group of pathologists who study all about blood and blood-related diseases. All right? Whether it is infections, viral, or whether it is blood cancer, all that they study. There is another group of pathologists called histopathologists. They study tissues. The surgeon goes in, operates, takes out either a small piece of a lump, or he may pick up the whole lot and send it, saying that please find out and tell me what it is, so that he can plan the treatment further. So a pathologist is a person who helps in diagnosis and helps in confirming a diagnosis.
When you look at a cell in the microscope, how do you know which is good and which is bad?
That is what we train as a pathologist after 3 years of intense study after becoming a doctor. So you first become a doctor to know all, and then you study pathology for 3 years. That there are so many things based on which we say this is normal, that this is not normal, and that is how we arrive at a diagnosis.
I have started learning about our skeletal system in school.
Okay.
I'm curious to know how a bone mends itself when there's a fracture. Like example, if there's a building and then it collapses, it can't rebuild itself. We humans need to build it again. How does a bone rebuild itself?
That is why the Lord above has made this human body so wonderful. It can heal itself. You know what happens when a bone breaks? The two ends of the bone have to be brought together. All right? And they should be held in the same position. Bringing them together is called reduction. Okay? And without that moving from one place to side, it is not allowed to move, it is fixed. That is called immobilization. When somebody does that, a doctor does that, puts the two ends of the broken bone together and makes sure that it will not move, first thing that happens there is a lot of collection of blood, a blood clot. Within a short period of time, there is something called fibrous tissue in the body that multiplies and makes a small case, something like a capsule around the blood clot. We call it callus. And this is of two types, one outside, external callus, and one along the inner cavity of a bone, inner callus. So it will be a lump. The two ends of the bone will look like as if it has been lumped up. Then God has created one more cell within every bone. It remodels that area. All right? It goes and reshapes it so that it brings the bone to look very near the original norm. This remodeling is done by multiplying of the bone is by one cell, and remodeling of the bone is by another cell. Yeah.
I learned that there's bone marrow in between the bones. When the bone breaks, doesn't the bone marrow spill out?
No, it is not loosely packed. It is attached to the inner wall of a bone. So some amount of marrow will go into that clot, but the rest of the marrow is continuously multiplying, and it is from this marrow that you get all your blood cells. You have heard of red blood cell, white blood cell, all those platelet, all of them come from the marrow. So marrow is lining and is held back by a mesh work of fibers. So it's not like emptying a vessel, all of them are gone. No, it's not that way.
There are so many organs and muscles in our body. How does our brain control each of these without getting confused?
Again, it's a marvel of the creation. See, the brain is connected to the different parts of the body by nerves. The main nerve comes inside the backbone called the spinal cord, from which branches at multiple levels go. Now, these nerves are of two types. One is called sensory nerve, which controls the sensation like touch, feel, all right, the smell, all these sensations, hearing, or all, even your taste of the tongue is all controlled by these sensory nerves. Then there is another group of nerves which control the muscles, the motor nerves. All right. And again, they are of two types. One is group where you have a control. If you want to move your hand, you take a decision and moves. There are some situations where the muscle has to move even without your command. All right. So I'll have to use jargons of word, which I don't want to. There are two types. One, voluntary, and the other is involuntary. And how is the message from a tissue, like your finger touches something very hot? How does that message go? It has to go through the nerve. But what is that links the skin to the nerve? They are called chemical mediators. Number of my mediators are there. Neuromuscular mediators. That is, they mediate and ensure the connection between neuro, that is nerve, and muscular, the muscle.
So everyone has the same cells, right? Like everyone has nerve cells, everyone has red blood cells and white blood cells. But how come some people are ticklish while others are not?
This is, how the response varies from person to person. Correct? The response to a same kind of sensation varies in person to person. This is called manifestation. Okay, you hit somebody like this. Some fellow may not even feel, he may just look at you and walk away. Whereas another fellow will scream, ayo, and make a lot of noise. And the third fellow will fall down and roll and say, ayo, ayo, ee. Correct? These are variations of how we react. The same muscle, same number of nerves, same number of bones, same number of... God has made all equal. Only thing is, we have not learned to, or we are not groomed to react the right way to various stimuli.
I think for tickling, I'm number 3 because even if someone is like within 1 centimeter of my skin, I start laughing so hard.
You see, it is something which starts from your mind. Oh, he's coming here, he's going to tickle me. Oh, it all starts. He has not even touched you. They have not even done anything. All right. This is what conditioning of the mind.
In recent news, I have been reading about the coronavirus mutating into different variants. What does that mean? How do viruses mutate?
You see, when I said life starts in a cell, the core of life is a string of DNA, which we call genes. All right? You resemble your father or your mother because you have received 1/2 number of genes from your father and the other half from your mother. Now, these genes carry the code. How long should this boy's nose be? How wide his eyes should be? How tall he can be? All these are genetic codes. If man has so many chromosomes. Chromosomes are the strands of genes. All right. Any change in the order in which these genes are arranged will have something to do with what it can become. Now, if man is clever, the bacteria and the viruses are more clever. Believe me, they are more clever. For every new medicine that man finds to kill a bacteria, the bacteria changes itself to resist or avoid getting killed by the same medicine. Similarly, viruses, by change in the code, become different. They change for their survival. And in the process, they affect human beings differently than what they did before they changed. So a mutation is a change in the sequence of the genes.
You are also one of the trustees of an organization called Spandana. What do they do?
This is a very nice question. I want to share a story that goes back about 20 years ago because I want young, smart people like you to really see what it is. About 20 years ago, when I was the principal at Ramaya College, we had adopted 36 villages to serve, find out, and give them the right kind of guidance in preventing and in curing their diseases. I used to go there to these villages to see whether the training of young doctors is going on properly. Once when I went, I saw a small boy of about your age, 7 or 8, tied by a very crude rope around his waist with the knot behind and tied to an electric pole in the center of the village. I was shocked. I said, what nonsense? And that boy was moving around all around the pole as long as the rope allowed him to go. And obviously, by looking at him, he looked to be mentally challenged. All right. We don't call anybody mad. We say mentally different or challenged, differently able. So I went near this boy, said, what nonsense, such a crude rope. It's going to hurt the child. I was about to untie the rope. Then 2 or 3 villagers, shopkeepers came running and said, sir, don't do that. He is mentally challenged. I said, so what? That doesn't mean you have to tie him to a pole. Sir, you people living in cities, you don't know our problem in the village. Both the father and the mother of that boy have to go and work in the field to earn the money to run the family. Who is to take care of this boy? There was none. So they bring him to the center of the village, tie up, so that if he does something like you said, choking or anything, somebody around may help him. That is the idea. So every evening, they come and take him back home. It made me feel very sad. The question, yes, we have schools for differently abled people in cities. What about the villages? Then after quite some thinking and talking out with my other teachers in my medical school, we started spreading a message with normal children of the village. Why don't they send this child to the school? They don't, because these children, whether they are handicapped, whether mentally or whether they have a limp, they are all teased by other small children, not knowing what they are doing. So these children are very scared to go to any school. So we showed a lot of cinemas to encourage, motivate the normal children, saying that if you had a little brother, little sister like that, would you help? They all said yes. Then we made small teams. Schools in India work 6 days a week. So 6 normal students will take care of one mentally handicapped child. He will bring him on a Monday to school, he will take him back. He will see that nobody teases him or troubles him in school on Monday. Tuesday, somebody else. Like this, we made a team. Then we went door to door. We requested the parents, trust us. We will take care. We will not only teach, we will train them. We'll give physiotherapy to restore their normal function. We will teach them small skills with which they can earn by themselves. So it started that way. Spandana with 8 children around 20 years ago. Now I have close to about 80 plus. And this we were doing only in one village. And women from all other villages, they started fighting, saying, why don't you do it in our village? It's not possible to create in every. I have seen mothers carrying 4 or 5-year-old children walking 3 kilometers, putting them into the school because we gave them good clothing, uniform. We gave them milk on arrival to the school. We gave them a good food as lunch. And there were special trainers to train these children. Some of them quickly learned, though they were a little delayed, but they learned to pass the school secondary final. Small jobs, we got them jobs. Now for 20 years, we have been doing this. And now in order to prevent mothers from walking all the way, we have bought a bus for them. The bus will go around to all the villages, pick up children enrolled, and in the evening we drop them back. This is Spandana Resource Center. A center for differently abled children. They may be a little deaf in hearing, or their vision is not at normal, or their leg movements are handicapped either by whatever cause. So for all these special children, we run the school.
That's very nice. You're doing a really good job because I've heard that now more people are getting education, and it's probably all because of Spandana.
Yes, we are adding a small pebble in our effort. And in the future, it has to be young people like Vedant who should do nice little things for the less fortunate people. All right? I told you the story deliberately because I wanted to inspire and motivate you, and through you, motivate your friends to do good.
I actually am inspired because probably when I grow up, I'll go to rural parts of India and I'll also go to villages and help all these people.
Very good, Veda. Very good. When I first took my medical students in the village and said, you have to live here for 1 month, all of them said, no, we will not do this. But after they spent their time there, talking to people, learning about what really are the problems of the school, village, they started teaching in the village school, medical students. They started teaching. They started doing so many wonderful small things. And they learned from the village to be humble and not arrogant. Life is not in the cities roaming in motorbikes or going to Pizza Hut and McDonald's. There is much more in life. My medical students became very, very humble and good doctors after they started living in the village for 1 month, only 1 month during the course.
I would have loved to live in a village.
Oh, yeah. When you
I would have packed my suitcase, few books, pencil and paper for drawing, and that's it. And a notebook.
Very good. I will take you next time when you're here, show you what they do. And you know what? There were so many village schools which were kept very shabbily, very bad. My medical students in groups, they went, they cleaned the place, they painted the school, they added small, lovely teaching charts and other things. And they made the teacher come to the school and teach the children.
And when I go to the village, I'm going to buy lots of pencils and erasers and pencil boxes to give to the children.
Very good, very nice. That is, life is sharing, and with sharing comes all the caring. You care for them. That is why you want to go and share with them. Wonderful, wonderful.
What can my listeners do to help Spandana?
Well, depending on where they are, they can join together with like-minded people and start small support services or small institutions like Spandana. Today, as I know, there is one or two Spandanas, but many more care centers for the less privileged people should start all around. If you can't create another one, you can support all these activities that you do, like I said, milk on arrival in the school, good food in the afternoon, good uniforms, we wear them shoes, small, all these things cost a little money. Well, God is kind, and I have a lot of friends with the same mindset. They're all supporting, and we have been going on for 20 years. But what after us? So, other younger people should have the same mindset to collect donations and continue. And if they're capable of starting one more, lovely, they can come to our Spandana, see what is being done, see for themselves what a special teacher is, and that may help them start small units elsewhere.
What made you choose to be a doctor? What did you want to be as a child?
Vedant, I am blessed to have been born in a family. My father was a doctor. My mother's father was also a doctor. So, and I was the only son. So they kept on saying, you should become a father, like your father, a doctor, like your grandfather, a doctor. It kept on ringing in my ears, right from as small as you. And that made me decide, yes, I'll become a doctor and do things as well or a little more than what my father and grandfather did.
That's really nice. Now I'm also going to try to become a doctor when I grow up. I want to help other people.
Welcome on board.
What are your hobbies?
Well, in the college days, sports, especially cricket, tennis, and badminton shuttle. I used to play badminton for nearly 36 years, every single day in my life. And after I started becoming busy more and more as a doctor, I took to a lot of reading non-medical books. Because during medicine, we read only medical books. So I wanted to read more. Now, at this age, I'm more interested in alternative medicine, traditional medicine, which has stood the test of time in India. I'm reading about a little and trying to research with them whenever there are chances given.
If you really like traditional medicine, in Singapore, in pharmacies, you can find like Chinese traditional medicines. They're really nice and they help. When I had a cold, I got one of those and had it. It was really nice. It tasted good and it helped.
And Vedant, you're right. The Chinese have learned to use their traditional medicine and our English system of medicine, what we call allopathy. They have used both together and allowed both to grow. But in India, unfortunately, our Ayurveda, our yoga, our pranic healing, our so many traditional Indian practices have been discouraged, have not been used well, and therefore they suffer from the same kind of popularity which Chinese medicine had. Now, of course, yoga, all over the world, people are talking of yoga, talking of meditation, things like that. So I'm now working how to use fruits and vegetables not as a supplement to treat a disease. See, many of these can cure disease. You have seen a lemon, lime at home?
Yeah.
You know, this little lime that you have seen has 20 chemicals which can prevent cancer in some parts of the body. Wow.
I didn't know that.
Correct. Even I didn't know that till I started working on it during the last 5 years. And you have eaten pomegranate?
Yes, I love it.
Love it. Eat more of it because it is one of the best antibacterial and antiviral. It can cure you from small viral infections and small bacteria. Next time, before your dad and mom tries to give you a medicine, tell them I want some pomegranate for one day. If it doesn't become all right, then I'll take the.
Thank you so much for coming on my show.
It was my pleasure also, Curious Vedant. I'm happy I was just a little part of your curious journey to adulthood.
Yeah, I really learned a lot. This was fun.
Thank you.
Dear listeners, follow my Facebook page, Curious Vedant, to get updates on my upcoming episodes. To listen at leisure on your phone and get notified about future episodes, subscribe by searching for Curious Vedant wherever you get your podcasts, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can also listen to my show on curiousvedant.com. The new website is up. Please make sure to go to it. Thank you for listening to Curious Vedant, and don't forget to rate and leave comments